Chris Bartlett, yeah. And he is also now more or less the official C-3PO for Lucasfilm, because Anthony Daniels doesn't do it anymore. He just provides the voice. So, yeah, there's quite a few people, 501st and Rebel Legion, et cetera, that are in other groups too. I mean, in other game design groups. Empire, et cetera.
Other questions?
As I say, I noticed we finally got some new faces in here. Anybody?
Covers, yeah.
It is with Rebecca.
Yeah, it's there. Are you guys doing anything with the Star Wars Legacy?
I'm not sure about you guys. We have legacy stuff.
Yeah,
I didn't know if you guys did or not.
Or the Imperial Knights, a lot of people are doing that costume. That's
Dark
probably-
Empire accepts any of the Darths from Legacy.
We
Darth
have
Relock,
some,
Darth Talon's member 501, that's part of Legacy.
Kate Skywalker costume is in there.
We're getting ready to do CRLs for Legacy Armor, Mandalorian Legacy Armor. It's slightly different. The helmet shape's different, but it still screams at you something that Boba Fett came from. It's just a different style of armor.
We do have some characters that fall into more than one group. Mara Jade, she is a 501st member. That is also a costume for the Rebel Legion. At one point, she's a bad girl, and she's a good girl.
She's also in the Empire.
The clone troopers, same way, the clone trooper armor that you'll see. At one point, they're good guys, and post Order 66 are bad guys. The clone trooper armor is accepted both in the Rebel Legion and the 501st.
Sadly, you guys don't have anything that we would be able to take, unfortunately. That's probably the only downside, is that there's nothing that they've made that we could take as Mandalorian mercs, mainly because the difference in characters is so out there. We've had many members say, "Hey, can I have a lightsaber wielding Mandalorian?" No, Mandalorians have no freaking idea how to use those things. It just doesn't work.
There was that one comic book where Bo pulled a lightsaber on
Right, but that's the man, and it's one reference. Generally speaking, Mandalorians have no idea how to use those oversized lightsaber thingamabobs. We'll just blow you up from a couple clicks away. It's fine. We do allow, bigger is better, baby. Now we do allow Mandalorians, if they'd like to carry lightsaber hilts as trophies. You can do that if you want. Depending on who you talk to at our club, it's one of those things where it's like, it's kind of like the outlaw in the Wild West shooting the sheriff and then, wearing his badge on his face. Every Jedi across the planet is going to see that and go, "Oh, you aced one of our guys. Come here, you."
Yeah.
Vader's Secret Apprentice, and depending on which path you take in the video game, either good guy or bad guy. It's 501st costume. Star Killers, he also can go light side, and there's a Rebel Legion costume for that.
I had a question, on his question. Is Darth Talon acceptable in the 501?
That I'm not sure about yet. I've not seen where that CRL's been in discussion. I'm actually not yet a member of that particular detachment forum, so.
Is Thomas Thanos, is that the guy that's in charge of the extended costume stuff?
Yeah, I think, no, Thomas retired this year from being Legion membership officer. Now it's Brian Anderson and who's the other one? It's Brian Anderson and there's Torment from Florida. It's
Yeah, I can't look at anything that Thomas Spanos does, because it just makes me just want to stow all this and shit.
Oh, really? We saw him at C5, and he had the head cage Bane with the entire Orbilis armor.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to fall over because he had that perfect.
So she's not officially accepted though yet, but in the Dark
I'm
Empire,
not sure.
in the Dark Empire should
Yeah.
be accepted.
Absolutely.
I don't think we just have any like do her yet. That goes for
There's enough
Great.
references for
Correct.
her, but I'm not sure if anyone has officially done one.
I see plenty of calendars at like celebrations. I see plenty of them.
Yeah, and as far as what's accepted, I vaguely recall somewhere reading if there are 3 Lucasfilm established costume references of quality, other than just like, the thumbnail picture, like, in the background of a picture of a battle going on. There's only speaking, that's enough to establish canon. So I'm sure by
I mean,
now.
she's in the whole legacy run. I mean, so.
Yeah.
Let me try and find that answer out for you real quick, just so I talk more about
See,
it.
he's the communications officer.
Derek, you had a question?
Yeah, I don't know if some folks know, but sometimes we get approached with really unique opportunities. Say, for instance, like Hasbro, their Sand Trooper figure, and plus, what was their macro binoculars? That's a 501st Sand Trooper you see on the cover and the packaging on that. They took, somebody snapped his picture at a con, I think it was Dragon Con, or it might have been some one of the celebrations. And the guy didn't even know it until, you know, the product come out, and he's like, hey, that's my armor.
Are you talking about the guy that's, he's on the cover of the card, he's holding his T21 kind of like this?
Yep.
I can't remember his TK designation number. But yeah, he, on his website, he, for some reason, had really, really high resolution images, like, 16 megapixel images that you could download as wallpaper. And someone looked at Hasbro and just said, thank you. And ran it through some Photoshop filters and boom. Also, you talked about the thing, the Kenner voice changer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The
So it's Bob Govia from New England Garrison.
And then another thing is, a lot of folks don't realize, we get calls, from TV stations, movies. You'll see us on the news all over the world making appearances. I think the California Garrison 501st has been on Deal or No Deal. They've been on there.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that guy actually got hired at Lucas Arts because he went to the office, in his stormtrooper armor, handed his resume and actually got the job.
Yeah, they probably got kicked out of the club too, because we got restrictions doing that in the club, the 501st. I mean, you can't set no money for your costume. I guess there's an exception for Lucas.
Yeah, we can't even take things like, I've had to turn down here recently, gift certificates, restaurant stuff like that.
Take off your water.
It's better to err on the side of caution. If they want to give somebody money, I say just give it to charity.
We've got a number of charities that we all work with. Since we're all non-for-profit, we can't take a red cent for anything, so we just, I know the main works we have what we call our Verdika Fund, which is the Young Warrior Fund for underprivileged children. Right now, the big one is the Princess Leia charity, Toys for Tots. We'll just take all that money and just shovel it towards a charity.
We want to stay on Lucas's good side. We want to keep them allow us to keep doing this. So yeah, we don't do kids' birthday parties. We've been asked that before and stuff like that. We're not party entertainment. We're a charity group.
See, Marks have done those, but that's...
Well, they have been done before, but for the payment is made towards charity for the appearance.
Do you have an answer?
501st.
It is actually correct. It is a provable costume at 501st. Just went to CRO. So,
What we do for fun. I know we've been talking about in the Dark Empire that 3D movies coming out next year, and if we're gonna go see it, why not go see it dressed up, go a couple hours early and give the kids something to look at? And we're not accepting money for that, it's for the kids. Because they're gonna go see the movie, and why not see the movie before they go see the movie?
Recruit.
She brought up the kids. All of this is totally worth it. You see that first kid go and get vapor locked because one of their imaginary friends just walked out and said hello. It's all it takes, and you're hooked for life.
I know at at the last con we went to, at Wonderfest, Captain Midnight Sun was in his Shadow Trooper, and his dad's Shadow Trooper, and he's walking around, and this little kid just looked at him like this for at least 2 minutes, and he was like waving at him, and he would not stop. He was just
And at that diabetes walk, those 2 Cub Scouts were just totally vapor locked. Because I'm a freaking Boy Scout. I work for the Boy Scouts. I'm sitting there, they're in their Cub Scout uniforms. I'm pointing at my numbers going, Boy Scout.
they didn't care.
Just going.
And yeah, I'll admit there's a lot of ego to it. It's nice to dress up and people say, oh my gosh, you look so great. Oh, you look awesome, And so you get that positive reinforcement and it makes you want to do it even more.
Yep.
Our next appearance, if I can plug it, most of us are going to be this upcoming Wednesday in Lexington at Joe Bennett Booksellers. Timothy Zahn is doing a book signing there. So most of us are going to be there. The bookstore contacted us. asked us to show up. We've done that for them before. And so we get to be backstage with Timothy Zahn and hang out.
One of the benefits of being part of the clubs are you get to interact with, a lot of, the stars. For example, take this weekend. We've pretty much been hanging out with Jeremy Bullock and Daniel Logan pretty much all weekend. No kidding.
Yeah, the TD, the vintage helmet.
Yeah.
Presented him with a costume about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 2 years ago of his own Boba Fett costume accurate to The Empire Strikes Back.
He has a
Jim
Jim.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Jeremy Bullock is not just an honorary member of the 501st, he is a full member with costume. He has worn it to charity events. I saw this vlog, he just did one a little while ago. Of course, he does most of his in England and wouldn't want to have to schlep his costume overseas all the time. But yes, full member.
Speaking of getting back with the children, it's one of my main reasons for doing this is the kids. Celebration 5 had a little story to tell. Me and Lord Bain are walking through the hall like we own the place, of course, and a little boy and his father are going in the other direction, and his dad recognized our characters, and he said, "Son, there's Bain and Xana." And all of a sudden I heard this kid, this little male child squeal, and he's like, "Where?" And then, of course, I overheard this, so I stopped and turned around. We both did. And this little boy is looking at me, and he said, "Xana." And I said, "Yes." And I knelt down, and first he knows the character. I guess his dad read him the first book or something, but he's standing there first looking kind of spellstruck, and then I was like, "Come on," like that. And he came running to me and almost knocked me backwards. If Bane hadn't been standing behind me, we both would have hit the floor. But he couldn't take his eyes off of me, and one of my favorite photos is of me with this little boy, and I've got it on my Facebook page. I've got it everywhere because it's my favorite photo. And his father kept saying it was kind of like me when I was spellstruck with the stormtroopers the first time I had a photo with stormtroopers. But he couldn't stop looking at me. His dad's like, "This way, son, this way, look at the camera." And he's looking at me the whole time. It's just, we finally gave up, and the pictures were taken, and he was looking at me on the camera. But I just, you don't know how it makes you feel.
The little boy in the
Be lovely.
Chewbacca costume. The little boy in the Chewbacca costume with Linda that was.
Yes, the very one. Yeah.
And Darth Xana here, I believe, is the only Darth Xana costumer I know for that character. And at Celebration last year, she was recognized by
Drew Carpation.
Drew Carpation.
Yeah. And I got to spill my drink all over him. I was so proud of that.
I will remember her.
Last year, what was it, Cole and some of the guys from up in Wilmington, Indiana built the troop mover from episode 4 and ended up with the whole sectioned off area for that celebration.
Oh, yeah, I remember seeing the Mercs did a photo shoot. Yeah, the inside of an AT-AT. The
We're talking about Celebration. Celebration, if you're not familiar with it, Star Wars Celebration is just a large, just all for Star Wars con. It's held every couple years. It was last held last year in Orlando. They announced the next celebration for next year in Orlando. So 2 years in between. August again next year. So a lot of us will be going down. A lot of us went down last year. Made some great memories. People, it's worldwide. People come from all over the world. You see lots of great costumers, lots of panels, meet authors, meet celebrities, autograph area. Awesome props by the Belgian 501st.
Didn't they also move like a whole TIE fighter?
Yeah.
And an AT.
Yeah.
And just some crazy stuff. But if you hear us talk about Celebration, that's what we're referring to.